I want to play a game. The rules are simple. We're gonna make a movie that takes place between the first and second films. But we're not gonna de-age any of our actors. We're gonna have an 80-year-old play a 60-year-old. We're gonna have a woman in her 50s with bad plastic surgery play someone in her 20s. And we're gonna tell a story that happened but didn't happen. Okay, I'm done. My head twitching. Hello there, I'm Scotty Yornot. We're talking about Saw X. Yes, so let's talk about, before I get into this, I have had a bit of a mixed reception to the last two Saw movies, ever since Saw 3D came out. They said it was the last one. And that they were developing a new one. It's called Jigsaw. It takes place 10 years after. First of all, they said it was 10 years after the events of Saw 3D. In the movie, they say it was 10 years after Jigsaw died. And I've been looking at this timeline. Apparently, Jigsaw's death, 3 and 4, take place in 2005. Apparently. So, or 2006, excuse me. So, that would make Jigsaw take place in 2016. Well, that would lead me to believe that the events of 5, 6, and 7 spread out over the rest of 2006 into 2007. Because they all kind of take place one after another. Because I don't know, for some reason I used to think that they were all in the year they were set in, but no, because there's a 6-month gap between 2 and 3, and then 3 and 4 right after each other. So, yeah, so Jigsaw came out, and I thought it was fine. I liked it. I wanted to see a sequel to that, but they're like, and apparently, then there's also 2 different stories out there for this as well. Apparently, they were working on a sequel to Jigsaw, right? Before Chris Rock came along and said, I want to make a Saw movie. So they let him, and then to say it's not a Saw movie. And that one was a bit, I thought it was okay. I didn't hate it. I thought it was fine, but it just didn't, it wasn't a Saw movie. It felt like they went out of their way to say it's from the Book of Saw, but it's not a Saw movie. They used different voice, they used different puppet. They had a twist that was very predictable. But like I said, apparently, so I hear 2 different stories. The first one was that they were going to make a direct sequel to Jigsaw before Chris Rock came in. The other one was that this idea was the one being pushed around before Chris Rock came in. So I don't know. But they went back to basics with this. They brought back Tobin Bell, who's in his 80s now. And it does show. And they also brought back Shawnee Smith, who's now in almost her 50s, I think. And that it would have been enough if they primed her up and made her look younger. Fine, she would look older. But Shawnee Smith has had some facial reconstructive surgery or something on her face that just bad. She's one of those that got plastic surgery on their face and it looks terrible because for some reason women in Hollywood think that if you mess your face, blah, 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 it looks fine, but your face is all bubbled up. You walk around like this, and it looks worse than you did before. All because they're so worried that if they don't do something to their face, they're gonna age and get wrinkles. You would look better with wrinkles than with freaking bubble tape face. And it's not too distracting, but I was kind of concerned because she's in a lot more movie than I thought it was. Because we see in the trailer she pulls off the mask. Okay, that's like an end of the movie shot, right? Or one little cameo when she gets these people. No, she is in a majority of this film. From the moment they get to this place where they're doing this trap on these people. Another thing that had me concerned was the story. And I'm still confused on this, on where this takes place and whether or not this is the case. But when I heard about this premise, when I saw the trailer, okay, the trailer is that John Kramer is going to get an experimental surgery done, and turns out it's a scam. They lied to him, and now he's getting revenge on these people. When I heard that, I went, "Excuse me, how can this work?" Because the only experimental cure thing that he came up with was the one that he told the guy, that William guy in the sixth one, and William said, "No, not gonna put insurance on that. It's not tested. We're not doing that. It doesn't fit his little thing." So that he had, so so he was tested for that. And I thought, if they're doing this, if this is that experimental thing, and it's a scam, then wouldn't that retroactively make Williams' test kind of... I mean, it wouldn't negate it, because he still hurt a lot of other people, but the reason... we're showing that the reason he did that was because he got screwed as well as others. But having watched the movie, I don't think it's the same thing, because I think he said the other one was in, like, mountains or Nepal, or I don't know, something. This is in Mexico. And yeah, so the movie starts off not with a trap, well, sort of. It starts off with John Kramer. He's in this rehab facility. He's being told, he's cancer, that sort of thing. Not rehab, but like I don't know, like a healthcare facility where they have a group, and so there he meets some people, and he talks with some people, and he meets, and one day he's out having his lunch and whatever. The first trap we get is something that people might get mad at. In fact, there was something similar to this in Saw 3D that people got mad at, furious at. And I think it's fine. It's a cool trap in that movie, but it's not a real trap sequence. And it's this trap, the one on the cover, the one that on the posters is shown everywhere, right? It's the eyeball trap, and it's this guy at the clinic who's trying to steal this guy who was in a coma, his jewelry and stuff. And John sees him doing this, and then we flash to the guy's in a trap, and he's got to break all his fingers, or his eyeballs would be sucked out. Eyeballs? Well, he's not able to do it, and his eyeballs get sucked out. It's a gnarly trap. It's gnarly. But it's all in John's head. Yeah. And I think this works better than the Saw 3D one, because this is just some guy, right? This is just some guy. We have no attachment to him. But with Jill, you're playing with her heartstrings here. You're like, oh no, what? She's dead, and then she's not. It's a dream. Oh, okay. It's just like, but this is like, okay, it's just some guy, whatever. So he meets this guy named, it's played by actor Michael Beach, who I think was one of the captains in Stargate Atlantis, or Stargate SG-1, one of the ones, right? I think it must be Atlantis. I think it's Atlantis. But anyway, and this Henry guy, John bumps into him, so happens to bump into him when he's having his lunch, and they have a conversation, and Henry tells him about this experimental thing down in Mexico. So John says, you know what, I'm going to do it. And so he goes down to Mexico, and, okay, so one thing I want to talk about is, so Tobin Bell is supposed to be playing 60 when he is playing 80. When he is 80, excuse me. And he does look a lot older, and I'm also concerned because shouldn't he have the shaved head here? This is after the first one. Like, how much of a gap was there between 1 and 2, where he grew his hair back that fast. I know he had his hair in the second one, so this could be right before the second one, I guess. With how Amanda looks, fine. Well, she fixed her bad plastic surgery quick then, you know. But anyway. So he goes on to Mexico, and he's being taken by this taxi driver named Diego. And they're stopped by these people in a van, and he's taken in and brought to this facility. Remember that. He's brought to this facility, but he doesn't see where he's brought. And he is taken, thrown in a van, and not shown where he is. And Dr. Cecilia tells him that they did that because they don't want people to know where it is. It's going to be secret. That there are people out there that will come after them that don't, appreciate this and think it's wrong. So he also meets Gabriela, another patient, so he's told, and another patient named Parker, who are there in this facility. And so he's taken in. He meets Mateo, an orderly there, and he's taken in. They sedate him. He is somewhat awake when they do the surgery, and he wakes up in another facility with the bandage on, and he said, well, I didn't get to say goodbye to Gabriela or the others. Also, when he is there, he meets this little boy named Carlos, who he helps fix a bike, and he learns the word hala, pull, which comes in handy later in Spanish. So, yeah. And so this is where it gets a little, we have to do this so he figures it out kind of thing. I felt like I'm confused because in the trailer they show him going to a doctor and having them tell him that there was nothing fixed for the surgery, nothing was done. But here he just goes back to the facility, which, mind you, he didn't know where it was, yet somehow is able to get there. Did they edit the wrong scene into this? Because the trailer had a line with dialogue with the doctor saying that there was no cure, the cancer is still there, that sort of thing. But that's not in the movie. And then because he goes to the facility to give Gabriela this bottle of wine as a gift, but I'm sitting here going, how did he find it? He was taken. He didn't know where it was. The doctor even said so. How did he? I'm so confused. It's because he has to find it. And this is where he finds out that he's got the thing. But another thing that I'm frustrated with is that they did nothing to his head. They just put bandages on it. They did not do anything to his head. And they say, well, don't get your bandages wet. And they gave him this stuff that's supposed to, some kind of thing is supposed to help with it. And I was already confused by surgery because there's this breakthrough cure. We have to give you this and the surgery. But he's already been told it's inoperable. So why would he think a surgery is going to help him? I'm so confused. It's very frustrating. I like this movie, but there are frustrations. There are frustrations here. And people are just ignoring this. I watch reviews and they don't. Yeah, I don't know. It's confusing. He's been told before it was inoperable. And they're doing a surgery. What's the surgery going to do if it's inoperable? And it's an experimental surgery, sure, but I don't understand the correlation between the surgery and this stuff that they give him. How is that connected? How is it supposed to work? I know it's a scam, but still. So he goes there, right? He sees that it's abandoned, empty, and he finds this videotape that is shown to him and that was supposed to be. By the way, there's a tablet in 2005. No. Is that supposed to be a tablet or is it like a... Is a portable DVD player? They had portable DVD players in 2005. I had one in 2007, so... I don't know. It could be a portable DVD player, but I swear it's a VHS tape that he grabs. Maybe it's a DVD, I don't know. But of a surgery to trick him. And then he looks in the mirror, he takes off the bandages. And that's another thing. How long is he supposed to have the bandages on and take this serum without... He's not supposed to change the bandages? You know, when's he going to realize that he's not in pain from the surgery? It's all kind of stupid if you really think about it. So he eventually kidnaps Diego, which brings me to another issue. His face is shown throughout the entire fucking film. At a point where nobody knew John Kramer was Jigsaw. Why is he showing his face? And why is Amanda just standing around with her face out? It's confusing to me. Well, the reason is so we can see him as an audience because we know this. Again, though, this is supposed to be a prequel. You know, taking place between 1 and 2. But you can't tell someone, oh, it takes place between 1 and 2, so you can just go from 1 to this to 2. No, because they're going to be confused as hell. You're going to be confused as hell. You're going to know you can't go from 1 to this to 2. But it takes place between 1 and 2. No, but this was made well after it. Well after the first 2. And with the fans in mind that already knew the twists between 1 and 2. So if you go into this, number 1, you watch the first one, you go to this one, and you're like, hey, who's that? Is that chick that was in the Reverse Bear Trap? Why is her face all fucked up? Why does she look 20 years older? What's going on here? Why is she helping him? And you watch the second one, you're like, oh, but I already knew that she was in the last, what? So, you know, and that's my issue with prequels as a whole, is that a prequel, right, should be able to fit wherever it's meant to fit. This does not do that. Because, you know, it works with the time, but this was made for the fans who already knew the twists of 1 and 2. So Amanda is there through most of the film. We know who Jigsaw is. That's the other thing, right? If you go in to, from the end of the first one to this one, you know, oh, his name was John. Oh, we know his full name here is John. Wait, that's the guy that had those people. Why are we following him? Why are we being so pathetic? You have to watch all the other movies. Maybe not Jigsaw and Spiral, but still, to understand it. Especially with the post-credit scene. People be like, who's that? This was designed for the fans. It just takes place between 1 and 2. But you have to watch it at least through Saw 3D to understand what's going on. You know, maybe even the Saw 4, really, because you just need to know that Hoffman's involved. You know, you don't need to know the whole thing, but yeah. So it's one of those prequels that works as a prequel, but not in the context of you can watch 1, this, then 2. You have to watch all the other ones, at least 1 through 7 first, before for this. It's gonna be confusing. There's not even a number on that one either, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3D X. Why not call this Saw 1.5? Because it still wouldn't work. Anyway, so he finds this guy Diego, who was also his doctor. He finds out Diego was his taxi driver. He finds out was also his doctor, and he puts him in a trap where he has these pipe bombs strapped to his arm, and he's got to cut through the tendons on his arm to get it off. And he does it. It's gnarly. He does it. In credit to this, John is ready to get you to a hospital. He brings him in. He brings in the first aid kit, and it's kind of funny. Like John Kramer, I got the first aid kit right here. I got a Band-Aid for you. Do you want My Little Pony or Mickey Mouse? I mean, come on. No, he doesn't do that, but I'm envisioning he comes in with a oh, you survived. I got Band-Aid for you. Do you want Hello Kitty or Mickey Mouse? I mean, it's just something to think about. He goes in. I know we get an extended scene after this now of Amanda kidnapping everyone. And again, I go, excuse me, how is this woman... Now, women can be strong, can be wrong, but we have shown in the past that Amanda can't do shit to protect herself from men. Like, the Saw 2 with that guy, that was his name, Xavier, he was about to overpower her before Daniel kicked him in the nuts or whatever it was. And even then, or no, he stabbed him or something, I don't know. But, you know, she's able to do all this. You know, they even referenced this in Saw 3, saying that, oh, she couldn't lift Detective Carey because she was too heavy for her. But all these people are within her weight limit. And we only see Amanda doing this. So, you know, it's like Scream 6. We were supposed to believe that Quinn threw that big black guy through the shelf. Please. I'm just saying. It's a bit of a disbelief. But everyone's kidnapped and everyone's there. And they do play it straight. You know, that Dr. Serena or whatever her name is tries to convince him. Oh, we scanned you, but my father's true. You know, like, you know, you're the only one we scanned, which is bullshit. And then we get other traps. Now, forgive me if I get some of this wrong, but the first one is Valentina. Well, I'm sorry, I don't understand. She's like a nurse or something, I think. And she has to cut her leg with a little saw thing and do something, throw something somewhere, but she doesn't make it and she dies. And then you have Mateo, who is strapped to this thing and has to, this thing here, which is what he was sketching earlier. He's an engineer, you know. But I don't know what that was supposed to be. Oh, it's the brain. He's got to take brain matter and put it in a thing, but he's not able to do it either, and he dies. And at one point, Parker shows up, supposedly looking for his money, and so John cordons him off in a part of the area. By the way, we're in that facility where everything went down, so that's why Parker shows up. There's a whole thing, though, where Amanda leaves a cell phone in there. And to their credit, it looks like a early 2000s cell phone. So there's that, like a Nokia piece of shit thingy. And she's able to call Parker. And that's how Parker gets there. It's revealed that Parker was called by her. And that's later. By Dr. Serena, or whatever her name is. Karina? Not Dr. Karina, whatever her name is. Whatever. Dr. Bitch Doctor. We'll call it Bitch Doctor, okay? So, Gabriela is able to survive her trap, which has her hanging from this thing, and she's got to beat things. Now, she can just beat her arm, but they make a point of saying she has to beat her legs first, which is fucking stupid, because, you know, she get beat her legs, and then she got to beat her arm to be free, which I'm not exactly sure what that means. She survives, and oh, by the way, I should have mentioned that the bitch doctor lady uses Valentina's intestines to get to the phone, which is, my armpit is itchy. Sorry. Harry. As I smiled it, shut up, my man. But this is when Parker reveals himself that he was the one that she called, and they're in it together, and so. The final trap that was supposed to be for her, they're gonna put John and Amanda in. But then Carlos is outside kicking a ball at nighttime, which again is something to contrive. Like, well, he has to do that so they can be brought in. And so this is where we realize she's evil because she's gonna put an innocent little boy in this trap, which is a waterlogging trap but with blood. Yeah, it's kind of gross, and it's John is getting the blood on him, and he pulls the switch, and then Carlos gets the blood on him, but then John pulls the switch. No, John is getting the blood poured on him, and Carlos realizes what's going on, and he pulls the switch because he tells him, "Hala," pulls the switch, and then John pulls the switch so that the kid is saved, and so they realize like this is the end. And by the way, Amanda is also like leg cuffed, so she can't go anywhere. And so bitch doctor lady and Parker go in to the office to get the money that's owed to them. And when they go in there, they don't find the money. They find just the thing. And Parker has a line where he's like, "Wait." He looks at the trap and he's like, "If that was supposed to be your trap, who's the other person that was supposed to be in there with you?" But she's not paying attention. She's like, "Where's the money? Where's the money?" And then the thing locks behind them, and they're stuck in there. And this gas starts running out. This is the twist, by the way. The gas starts coming out of there, right? And it's revealed. They start untying the things. Reveal that everything was set up. They apparently, because they called it. There's a line earlier in the film when he's like, he gets on the phone. He's like, I use this. He's like, "Hello, detective. I wonder what detective he's talking to. I need your help in finding some people for my next for his whatever it's called experiment or whatever it is." And so of course he's talking to Hoffman, and this is we get flashbacks revealing that Hoffman could get everybody but Parker. And so that's why they had to have her lure Parker. Although it is a bit of a risk to think that Parker would be the one that she calls. Although they do explain that they are hooking up and going to Bang Boom Boom Town. So, you know, and even John says, "She will turn on you." You know, and so this gas starts coming in, and another thing I have a confusion with this. So the only way to survive is for one of them to kill the other one and then stick their head out this thing. But we see that Parker's skin is starting to get all burning and stuff. How is sticking your head out going to protect you from that? I don't know, but bitch doctor lady kills him, and she sticks her head out, right? And yeah, so it was all set up. And then John, Amanda, and Carlos walk out, and Carlos gets the money. And I've heard that people want Carlos to be to be honestly, I watched 3C films, and he said he thinks Carlos. I know everybody's sick of new apprentices, but Carlos could be one. And that actually solves a problem I was having with how they could continue with a sequel. Before we get to that, though, we have unfinished business. A mid-credit scene. So if you're wondering, wait, what about that guy that he talked to, that Henry guy? Is he in on it? The answer is yes. Even though you don't really think about it at first, and you're like, wait a minute, what about the Henry guy? If everything else was a setup, what about him? He was. And the mid-credit scene starts with the lights in the freaking bathroom. Yeah, that bathroom. And you see him hanging there, right? With the dead body of Zepp and Adam laying in the background, right? And then you see Detective Hoffman. And to their credit, but also Costas Mandalore has not had any bad plastic surgery. The only thing is that he lost a bit of weight but they did a good job making him look like he was from that era. So it worked. He said, of all the people to screw with, you picked Jigsaw. You picked John Kramer. Sorry, bastard. And the only problem I have is that all these traps that everyone was put in, there was a way to get out. Gabriella survived. By the way, bitch doctor lady cracked that neck and killed her. Yeah, forgot to mention that. But like, there was a way to survive. They put this thing on him and it's implied it's just gonna tear through his skin. This was a revenge thing. And I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. John's always like, killing is distasteful. And just, this is killing. Right? Also, I have an issue with the way they handled Amanda. There's something off here. Because throughout the film, Amanda is kind of remorseful towards people. Even though we know that she will be the one to put in unwinnable traps. So, what changes? I don't think there's anything in here that it indicates a change like that here. So I don't know where that change comes from. Maybe they're going to do more, I don't know. But here is my solution to the end of Saw 3D. Okay? The end of Saw 3D, Dr. Gordon and there's two other big people who I refuse to believe are those two numbnuts from the beginning of the movie in that trap. Sorry, bullshit. I've always said before that it makes more sense if it's Detective Rigg, who's still alive, because you don't see him die, and Daniel Matthews, who's now a cop, getting revenge for his father. It makes sense if those are the two, right? Like Hoffman leaves, Rigg left to die, and Gordon shows up. He's a doctor. He could sew up the thing, and then they recruit Daniel, right? It makes more sense. But Hoffman's gonna need someone on his side. Enter Carlos. All right, because Carlos is from this era, so he would know Detective Hoffman and Amanda and Jigsaw, but he wouldn't know about the double cross because he wasn't around when it happened. So maybe after their death, he talks to Carlos. And, although Carlos would still technically be a teenager at that point. So maybe that won't work. Or you just have the kid actor come in and help him, and you flash forward 20 years, whatever. That was 2000 and... It's supposed to take place 2006, apparently. So you go 2006, and 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That's 10 years, right? 16. And so 10 years would be 2026. Let's say it comes out next year, 2024. So it's 20 years. It is 18 years later. So he'd be a full-fledged adult at that point. And helping Hoffman. Although the best scenario, now that I think about it, for this situation were to be if it took place right after. So it would be in 2006. And you could have the kid come back. And you could have Costas Mandalorian, the makeup and stuff, make him look younger. At this point. I don't know. It's just an idea. I'm going to give Saw X pretty good. I think it worked. I had some issues, but overall, I enjoyed it. I think it's better than the last two we got. There's just some issues when you think of it as a prequel. And, the actors look older than they should, especially with freaking plastic surgery face, Shawnee Smith. Look, I am wholly against. I'm not against women, like, maybe giving themselves bigger butts or bigger boobs or something like that. Because it's under clothes. You don't see it. But you do stuff to your face. It's the same thing with tattoos, right? Doing your arms or your tits or even on your ass or something. But when you do stuff to your face, it's right there in the open for everyone to see. And when they do it horribly wrong, it looks terrible. It does. And don't get tattoos on your face. Take that thing out of your nose. It's... Anyway, What are your thoughts on Saw X? Leave them in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.